All right, Bill, are you... Yeah, such a gorgeous tan, Mr. Wren. Where have you been?
In Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
Yes.
When I go there, it is all cloudy and smoggy. But of course, you can get a tan through
We
there.
have a house near Los Angeles where the sun is always shining. There's no smog.
Ah, I see. I see. Okay.
Okay, Bobby, I think we're giving it to us.
All right, if you'll just give him a microphone test.
Yes, hello, hello, hello.
Bill, we need
But
to shut those doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's.
I've been there for about
That's it.
2.5 months.
Okay,
All right, we're rolling.
yes.
Mr. Loren, this time it is my pleasure to welcome you to Dallas because the last time we talked it was in Houston when you were touring.
Yes, that's right.
And this, of course, is a different event because you're here on behalf of Coty
Yes,
and for a big Italian event with the J.C. Penney Company.
that's right. Yes.
Now, you were here for how long?
But I was here before for another Italian event that it was a Italian fortnight for Stanley Marcus, and here I am again for another Italian event for J.C. Penney.
Your association with the Coty Company, how long has that been going on?
For about 4 years now.
Uh-huh.
4 years now, yes.
And
it's
is
a very good marriage.
Is it a year-to-year thing, or do you sign for so many years?
I signed for a minimum of years, let's say, yes.
So in any event, it's been going on.
Oh yes, 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 very nicely, very nicely.
You have also a movie coming out on NBC, which is our network,
Yes.
and it is called Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you haven't done a film in some time, have you?
I did another film for NBC, which was my autobiography, and this was did go on the air about 3 years ago, and now I did another one, which this film is very close to me because in the film I have my son working with me, playing a very important role, and my son is only 11 years old, and he really did a very good performance.
This is Eduardo.
Eduardo, yes, yes.
And do you play mother and son in Aurora?
Yeah, it's a very nice and tender relationship between a mother and their son.
And how was it always that he was going to be in it, or how did that come about?
No, the story came about for chance. How do you say? Just like this. I mean, they sent me a script and I read it. I liked it because it was a little bit different from the script that I had received so far. It was a nice, lovely, tender, emotional story. And there was this boy in the film that had the age of my son, and from the description, he looked exactly like my son. So I said, why not? He wants to be an actor. Maybe it's very good for him to try to do a film with me. I'm going to protect him, you know, and maybe they're going to like it. So I told the director what I thought, and he made a test of him. And the test came out very, very well, and we started the film. But of course, a test doesn't say anything. I mean, it just says, I mean, he photographs well, he's very pretty, and it's okay. But the whole story, the impact of the whole story, it's something else. But Eduardo surprised me every day. He's a guy that is very concentrated on his work, and he follows the things that the director told him to do in a very serious way, like he was not 11, but much older than that. And I think, but it's very hard for me to talk about my son because, of course, I'm a mother. I see beautiful things, but for what everybody else has said after they've seen the film on him, they said that he's very good in it.
And is it his first time to have an acting role?
Oh, first time, yes. He never had it. But of course, when I knew that he was going to make this picture, I let him go to Anna Strasberg studio to be able to get confident, with his body, with his voice, with himself, and to teach him certain kind of things that he needed. And he absorbed everything like a sponge. And so the results are there, you're going to see.
Carlo Jr., what is he doing?
Carlo, he likes to play the piano very much. He's a very introvert boy. He's a dreamer, and he plays piano very well, and concert, classical music. Of course, he likes also the new stuff, as you say here, the new groups. But he's always involved in music, Carlo. Always.
Well, we shall look forward to Aurora, and that will be coming out, I guess, rather soon, won't it?
21st of October.
Very good. Do you get a lot of scripts submitted to you, Miss Loren? Movie scripts?
Oh, I do. I read a lot, but not every script is good, and I think that you have to be severe with the people that send you these scripts, because sometimes they send you things that are absolutely I don't want to say abominable, but not right for me. And but lately I received a script that I like very much. Of course, I'm not going to reveal it in this interview, because it's something that if we do it, it's something for me fantastic. And if the project is going to be done, we are going to do it in the beginning of next year. And this is going to be something very, very powerful for me. Yeah.
And it will be a theatrical movie as opposed to TV?
I think it's going to be, if we do it, a mini-series for television, and then it's going to be exploited in the theaters elsewhere.
Of course, I think now, and I can say this because I'm in the same age group, I think now, Ms. Loren, has never been such a good time for mature women, and I consider myself a mature woman, you do too. Do you agree that now is a good time for us?
Mature women always had a good time. There's nothing wrong to be mature. I don't know what you mean.
Well, it seems.
I mean, it's easier for me now to find work than before.
That, and plus the fact that I think with the TV series that are spotlighting the mature women, I think it is giving mature women every place, not just you and I who are in the public eye, but giving all mature women a better image of themselves. Do you think?
It depends. It really depends. I mean, you can't generalize on these kind of things. It's impossible. It's impossible.
It's just very individual then.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
Now you have a book which we're going to later take a picture of, Women and Beauty, and it's a new book, isn't it?
Yes.
And what was your whole idea when they came to you about the book? You said, all right, I will do it, but it must what?
I was asked to do this book a long time ago, maybe about 5-6 years ago, before this fashion about beauty books came out. But I didn't find anything interesting for me to grip on. But about 2 years ago, I found a very good editor that they talked to me and they said, why don't you do it? Because I think it's something wonderful that you would tell all the women the experiences of your life. And they said, so when you approach the subject on this, I was very happy, because I didn't want to do a book just on exercises, just on diets, and I didn't like that at all, even though sometimes in the book I give some tips here and there. about exercising, dieting, not smoking, and living in the open and breathing wonderful air. I wanted to do something more about a woman. So I found two very good collaborators that worked with me, and when we started working, we didn't know what the book was going to be, because we talked and talked and talked and talked for hours, and everything was taped. And at the end of it, we made a selection of everything we talked about, and we started to put it in order, and it came out a book that it's not the usual book that is coming out now, that may come out nowadays. It's a book with a soul in it, with experiences. It's a book for a woman, which is very interesting. It's something that talks about charm, about intelligence, about shyness, about manners, about graciousness, about faith in life, about so many, if I might say, philosophical things, that it has become really a little Bible for me. This book, and so I think that it came out a good book, and I received some very good reactions from the critics that generally they give critics to this kind of books, which were absolutely wonderful. And one of them said that my book had a soul, which is absolutely very nice.
Couldn't be nicer, could it?
Oh, no. Yeah, I will never forget that.
You make your home now. Is it in Switzerland?
Yes, I live in Switzerland.
Yes. And do you ever, or will you ever go to Italy for any reason?
I always go to Italy.
You still go back and forth?
Yes.
Yes. And
My mother's there, my sister's there. I always go back to Italy.
And do you have any bitterness toward the Italian government?
Bitterness is something that it's not in my vocabulary. I don't know this word at all. No.
That's what gives you your charm and your admiration
Maybe.
and so forth. Ms. Loren, your time is limited and so is ours, but we thank you very, very much for the opportunity to talk with you today, and we'll be looking forward to Aurora and then the announcement about...
And look at my son.
Yes, indeed.
Carefully.
11-year-old Eduardo.
Yes.
And thank you, you're a most gracious,
Thank you
beautiful
so
lady.
much. Thank you.
How does your son Eduardo happen to be in this movie? Is this his first acting role? What did you do to prepare him for this? Just a second now. What was it you wanted to achieve with this book? Do you have any feeling of bitterness toward the Italian government?
Captain Hawks, you acknowledge to be the owner of the showboat?
I do. What do you want?
Well, Cap, I have an unpleasant duty. Understand there's a miscegenation case on board.
What's he mean, Mama?